In 1998, San Diego Padres relief pitcher Trevor Hoffman had, undoubtedly, the best season of his career. In 66 games and 73 innings pitched, Hoffman went 4-2 and had 53 saves. He recorded an ERA of 1.48, adjusted ERA of 265, a whip of 0.849, struck out 10.6 batters per 9 innings, and earned 4.1 WAR. Nearly all those stats are career highs, and he was a key piece in the Padres World Series run, to date, their most recent appearance in the Fall Classic. For his efforts, Hoffman received 13 first-place votes for the National League Cy Young Award, the most first-place votes any pitcher earned on the ballot. Despite receiving the most first-place votes, Trevor Hoffman did not win the Cy Young Award. I'll get to how that's possible in a moment, but first, which pitcher won the award? It was Tom Glavine of the Atlanta Braves. In 1998, Glavine started 33 games and threw 229 and a third innings. He went 20-6 while recording an ERA of 2.47, adjusted ERA of 168, a whip of 1.203, struck out 6.2 batters per 9 innings, and earned 6.1 WAR. He was one of the top pitchers in baseball that year, so it's no big surprise to see why he won the award. While there is a strong argument for Glavine to win it, I want to look at a couple of things about this Cy Young race. First, did Glavine rightfully win the award, or should Hoffman or somebody else have won it instead? Secondly, this might sound odd, but I'm going to argue that Tom Glavine didn't win the Cy Young Award solely due to being an amazing pitcher. He, at least partially, won it because the Padres were too good. While Hoffman and Glavine combined for 24 first-place votes out of a possible 32, the other 8 votes went to another Padres pitcher, Kevin Brown. Brown was elite in 1998. That year, he started 35 games and threw 257 innings. He went 18-7 with an ERA of 2.38, adjusted ERA of 164, a whip of 1.066, struck out 9.0 batters per 9 innings, and earned 8.6 WAR. Back in 1998, voters voted for first place, second place, and third place for the Cy Young Award. A first place vote yielded 5 points, a second place 3 points, and third place 1 point. Whoever had the most points wins the award. Glavine earned 11 first place votes, 13 second place votes, and 5 third place votes for 99 points. Hoffman's 13 first place votes, 5 second place votes, and 8 third place votes accumulated 88 points. Kevin Brown had 8 first place, 8 second place, and 12 third place for 76 points. Since Glavine had the most points, he won the award. Interestingly, Glavine was left off 3 ballots, but Hoffman was left off 6. A combination of more second place votes and appearing on more ballots overall gave Glavine the edge over the other 2. This was the first time in MLB history, and just third occurrence overall, where a pitcher won the Cy Young Award without garnering the most first place votes. The big question is, should Tom Glavine have won the award, or should it have gone to Hoffman, Brown, or even somebody else? While Glavine was excellent, he wasn't even the best pitcher on his own team. Greg Maddux outclassed him in basically every statistic. In 34 games started and 251 innings pitched, Maddux went 18-9 while earning an ERA of 2.22, adjusted ERA of 187, a whip of 0.980, struck out 7.3 batters per 9 innings, and earned 6.6 WAR. Maddux beat Glavine in every single stat with the lone exception of wins, where he's 2 wins short. There were 3 other pitchers who also appeared on the ballot, John Smoltz, Al Leiter, and Randy Johnson, but in my opinion, Maddux and the 3 pitchers from before are the main 4 that have a strong Cy Young Award case. In case anybody is wondering, Maddux received 2 second place votes and 4 third place votes. Here's a full breakdown of the ballot results, and all I could say is I'm genuinely surprised Smoltz had more total votes than Maddux, but that's neither here nor there. I bet people are wondering why Maddux received such low support despite his incredible season. That is an excellent question that I don't have the definite answer to, but I speculate it was due to his poor finish. Through his first 27 games of the season by mid-August, Maddux was the undisputed best pitcher in baseball. He was 16-6 with a sparkling 1.65 ERA in 206 and a third innings pitched. Across his final 7 games, 2-3 with a 4.87 ERA in 44 and a third innings pitched. Did the final 6 weeks of the season really cost Max the Cy Young? I'm not entirely sure, but it's my general assumption. In a perfect world, he would have won the 1998 Cy Young Award convincingly, but alas, he wasn't even close. Anyway, the main question still remains. Which one of these 4 deserves the award the most? Well, let's look at the stats. Maddox led the National League in ERA, adjusted ERA, and WHIP. Brown led this group in strikeout rate, innings pitched, and all of the league in WAR. Glavine led the National League in wins, while Hoffman led the league in saves. It's an interesting race, and I think it's closer than you might think. An easy answer to say is Maddox. He was the best in 3 critical stats, and given that he only has 6 fewer innings pitched than Kevin Brown, he appears like a clear-cut choice. Plus, it's not as if Max was just slightly better. His adjusted ERA is a full 17 points higher than the second best. Those are all true, but Brown did have a higher WAR amount, and by a decent measure. His 8.6 WAR is 2 points higher than Max's mark. Does Brown's difference in WAR make up for his difference in adjusted ERA? That's ultimately up to you. What about Trevor Hoffman? He seems like the odd man out given that he's a relief pitcher, but hear me out on this. He was the most dominant reliever, not just in the National League, but all of Major League Baseball. His 53 saves led all of MLB, and at the time, it tied the record for most saves in National League history. Additionally, his 1.48 ERA was the second lowest of any relief pitcher in all of baseball that threw at least 40 innings. One specific stat that stands out though is his WAR. Hoffman's 4.1 WAR was not only the highest of any reliever in Major League Baseball, it was the 12th highest in all of the National League. That placement is in spite of the fact that all but one pitcher with more WAR has more than double the innings pitched. In fact, more than half of the pitchers with more WAR than Trevor Hoffman have more than 3 times the number of innings pitched. He was that good. There's even a stat that can't be found on any box score. The 1998 Padres were in the midst of a notable winning streak. From July 1996 to April 1999, San Diego won 181 consecutive games when leading after 8 innings. Their reason for success was largely attributed to Trevor Hoffman. It was all of that, and the fact that the Padres were division winners, as to why Hoffman received so many first place votes for the Cy Young. Speaking of the Cy Young Award, this might sound controversial, but I'm going to say that Kevin Brown should have won the award in 1998. When compared to Greg Maddux, both pitchers had the same number of wins and similar marks in ERA, innings pitched, and WHIP. Maddux has the advantage in adjusted ERA, but Brown clears him in WAR. Brown was also the notably better strikeout pitcher, having over 50 more strikeouts in just 7 additional innings pitched. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, Kevin Brown was undeniably more valuable to his team than Greg Maddux was to his. Maddux was a part of the greatest pitching trio in baseball history and finished with the best record in the National League. Kevin Brown was basically the only good starting pitcher the Padres had, and there's zero doubt San Diego would have missed the playoffs without him. The Braves still finished in first place without Maddux. The Padres probably missed the playoffs without Brown. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't argue against anybody that would have voted for Maddux, but if I had a vote in 1998, it would have gone to Kevin Brown. To wrap up, I want to go back to something I mentioned earlier in the video. While Tom Glavine was one of the best pitchers in the league that year, he, at least partially, won the Cy Young Award because both Padres pitchers were too good. As stated before, Hoffman received 13 first place votes, Glavine received 11, and Brown received 8. Since the voting was so close, I honestly believe Hoffman and Brown stole votes from each other. Since San Diego had 2 incredible pitchers, where both had an argument for the Cy Young, you can see how some voters voted for Hoffman, and some voted for Brown, rather than the majority voting for one of them. Tom Glavine did receive the most second place votes of any pitcher, so while most agreed that he would have been the runner-up, just enough voters were divided between Hoffman and Brown, it allowed Glavine to win the award. The first time in baseball history that a pitcher won the Cy Young Award without receiving the most first place votes.